So, elections are around the corner in the state of Bihar, and once again, one topic of interest is the anti-defection law in this country. Your thoughts on it, because the law has often been under the scanner whenever there's a hung verdict.
So I personally feel that a law which was brought in with a lot of good intention somehow has not worked the way it should have worked. Firstly, the adjudication for an anti-defection is done by the Speaker of the Assembly or by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Now, the Speaker invariably is of one party or the other because he has to be elected by the members of the Assembly or the Lok Sabha. So obviously, he belongs to a political party. He is not a neutral person. So if the defection involves people who are not supportive of the ruling party, then a decision comes quickly. But if it is a defection of persons who are supporting the political party, either after the defection, then the whole thing gets completely stuck. And we have had instances where courts have had to intervene to give direction to the speaker to decide the matter expeditiously. And lo and behold, we also see very rarely speaker doing a proper impartial decision in such matters. So that is the first problem with the anti-defection law. And the other bigger problem is, of course, by a judicial determination. According to me, the anti-defection law does not prescribe a period for which you will be disqualified. So unlike in the Representation of People's Act, if you get convicted, then you are disqualified for another period of 6 years after you serve the sentence. But in the anti-defection law, there is no mention of any period. So in my view, if there is no mention of a period, then at least that is the minimum. The defection should be at least for the entire house from which you have defected. So for instance, if you get elected to the Lok Sabha and it's a 5-year term, and if you defect and join some other political party in the beginning, just to give them the numbers, then you should not be permitted to resign from the earlier political party and join the very party where you have defected to and then contest the election again and get elected to the same Lok Sabha. The purpose of having a defection law will only be subserved if a person knows that by defecting, there is no way by which he can come back to the same house or the same assembly or the same Lok Sabha. Now that has happened by a judicial determination of the Supreme Court, which according to me is very faulty. And very soon either there should be a need to relook at that judgment or the Parliament should think of amending the anti-defection law to rectify both these problems in the defection law. So for instance, the anti-defection should be determined either by an independent tribunal or by the High Court. And secondly, the defection, once it is approved, should last for the full term of the particular member from that particular house. Otherwise, in my view, this is more being misused than being used in this country.
So very briefly, a bit about the office of the Speaker as well, because the moment there's a discussion about anti-defection, the office of Speaker also comes under scrutiny and how a Speaker really operates.
So it's a very unfortunate, even for the Speaker or even the Governor. Governor also is supposed to be a neutral person. He is a high constitutional functionary. But our experience in this country has been that both the Governor and the Speaker act as agents of the ruling party which have appointed them or elected them. And that is not what is expected from the high office of a Speaker or a Governor. I think you should try and either have a panel of independent people being appointed as Speakers and Governors, or you should have this kind of an adjudicatory process taken out completely from the purview of the Speaker and given to some independent body. But the way the Speaker is functioning in this country, a lot is, wanting. And I think both there should be an introspection amongst the speakers of this country as well as of the governors of this country as to that they are only, they only have to look at the constitution and the law for their functioning and not to act at the dictates of the political party which has appointed them.
Thank you, sir.